And welcome back to another devotion. I am Pastor Roy Carlin here at Woodlawn Christian Church in Lake City, Iowa, and this devotion is for Tuesday, March 11th of 2025. We are working our way right through the month of March, and it's been a bit of a lion so far, so we're hoping the last half is more lamb-like, as the old wives' tale goes, in like a lion, out like a lamb, hopefully. At any rate, we are in the book of Acts. We've been working our way through Acts, and we will be for quite a while yet. We're in chapter 10 today, and we're going to pick up at verse 17 and go through verse 33, so a little bigger bite than we've been taking, but we're still not going to get through the story about Peter and Cornelius, this centurion, Roman soldier, leader, who has sent three men to get Peter. He had a vision. An angel came to him in a vision and told him to send for Peter. So he sent two of his servants and a devout, a believing soldier, another believer, another Christ follower, well, at least another follower of Judaism, let's put it that way. They're not yet Christ followers. That's what we're going to accomplish here in the next couple of times here, today and Thursday. But at any rate, we left off, I should say, with Peter up on the rooftop. He's waiting for them to cook the meal. He's hungry, so perhaps he goes up there to take his mind off of being hungry and hangry, or whatever he is, and to spend some time in prayer and reflection, and to just take his mind off of the fact that he's waiting very patiently, hopefully, for the meal. And while he's up there, he has this vision of this sheet coming down with all these animals on it. And the voice tells him, this theophany, tells him to take and eat. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I've never touched anything that was unclean. So therefore, we have mandated that all things are clean, and not just food, but that's spilling over into the context of the story, into the company that he's going to be keeping for a little bit here. So they are about to this new sect is really stretching these dietary laws of Judaism, and they're going to stretch some more of these purity laws as well. So they are really pushing at the seams of what is acceptable Jewish behavior, without a doubt. So without further ado, let's jump into chapter 10 and see if I can get through verses 17 to 33. Forgive me if I stumble a little bit, because this is a lot of text to read in one sitting for old Pastor Roy. Let's do it. Now while Peter was inwardly perplexed as to what the vision which he had seen might mean, behold, the men that were sent by Cornelius, having made inquiry for Simon's house, stood before the gate, and called out to ask whether Simon, who was called Peter, was lodging there. And while Peter was pondering the vision, the Spirit said to him, Behold, 3 men are looking for you. Rise and go down, and accompany them without hesitation, for I have sent them. And Peter went down to the men and said, I am the one you are looking for. What is the reason for your coming? And they said, Cornelius, a centurion, an upright and God-fearing man, who is well spoken of by the whole Jewish nation, was directed by a holy angel to send for you to come to his house and to hear what you have to say. So he called them to be his guests. The next day he rose and went off with them, and some of the brethren from Joppa accompanied him. And on the following day they entered Caesarea. Cornelius was expecting them, and had called together his kinsmen and close friends. When Peter entered, Cornelius met him, and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter lifted him up, saying, Stand up, I too am a man. And as he talked with him, he went in and found many persons gathered. And he said to them, You yourselves know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with or to visit any one of another nation. But God has shown me that I should not call any man common or unclean. So when I was sent for, I came without objection. I asked then why you sent for me. And Cornelius said, 4 days ago, about this hour, I was keeping the 9th hour of prayer in my house. And behold, a man stood before me in bright apparel, saying, Cornelius, your prayer has been heard, and your alms have been remembered before God. Send therefore to Joppa and ask for Simon, who is called Peter. He is lodging in the house of Simon, a tanner, by the seaside. So I sent to you at once, and you have been kind enough to come. Now, therefore, we are all here present in the sight of God to hear all that you have been commanded by the Lord. Okay, I almost got through it. All right. Again, Peter, as another theophany, another vision there, another auditory thing, telling him that, hey, they're here to get you. Go on down. And he goes down. He's obedient. So this whole thing is a story of obedience, even when we think this can't possibly be the thing we're supposed to do. Sometimes we God is calling us to do something. It's like, hey, God, I ain't that kind of guy. I can attest to that. When I felt called to come to the ministry, I was like, God, that's not me. That's not, I'm just an old cowboy and I'm a sinner, by golly, a very wicked sinner. And I don't have the power of auditory. I don't have that I don't have this, what do I say? The gift of gab. That's the word Roy wants. The gift of gab. I don't have that. And I'm not a slick and smooth speaker by any stretch. But God said, no, do it anyway. Listen and obey. And that's what all of this with Cornelius is all about. That's really very much the undertow here that we're dealing with, besides the fact that we're just destroying these food laws as well as the cleanliness laws. Because the interesting things here is Peter is staying with Simon the tanner, who we're going to assume was Jewish, but being around dead things would have caused him to have to go through ritual cleansings before he could go into the temple. But nonetheless, excuse me, he's Jewish. So what does Peter do? You got these 3 Gentiles that have come visiting, wanting to bring Peter back to Caesarea, which is, a little bit of a trip. It's too late in the day to take off now. We've got to wait till morning. Come on in and stay with my buddy Simon the tanner in his house. So Peter invites them into this other man's home. That's a little presumptuous, we would say. But it just shows where he's at. He is committed to, it's all okay. We're all children of God. And that's where it's going here. And they come in, again, breaking those cleanliness laws. And then he goes with them. And he meets Cornelius. And of course, Cornelius does what we see happen in different places with Peter and with Paul. That people come and think that they are the one that they need to worship. And part of this would be Cornelius is, of course, Roman. He's a centurion. He's part of the Italian cohort, so he is as Roman as you're going to get. He is familiar with the cult of the emperor. The emperor is divine in that cult, and so they worship the emperor. So he's got this in his mindset. This guy is Peter. He's the big dog. I have to worship him. I fall down at his feet and I worship him. And Peter, of course, just like Paul, no, don't be doing that. I'm just a guy. I'm just a man. And to his credit, because one of the big things that can get you in trouble in ministry, in life, but ministry especially, is for a pastor or someone else to start believing their press and start thinking that they are all that and they are, a big deal. Don't ever begin to think that you are a big deal and it's all about you, because it's not. It's all about God. It's all about the Lord. And Peter, to his great credit, even though he's done all these miracles and everything else, and he's certainly as a human being could have been susceptible to that inkling, to that notion. Stand up, I too am a man. Don't worship me, worship Christ. And then Cornelius, again, being obedient, he just says, I called you because I was told to call you. I'm supposed to hear what you've got to tell me. And we're going to leave that part till Thursday when we tell him about what he's going to talk to them about. I will add here at the end of this, and we're getting closer to 10 minutes, Cornelius' vision is at the about 3 p.m., about 3 in the afternoon. Ironically, that's about the time, interestingly enough, there's no coincidences, is there? That's at the same time that Jesus gave up his ghost, so to say, on the cross at 3 o'clock. That's on Good Friday. That's when we believe he died at 3 o'clock. That's why we do the cross raising at 3 o'clock when we do it here. That's something that's been being done here in Lake City for a long time. This year I will be doing, I guess it will be my 11th cross raising that we've done here. And it's always a very impactful service. If you've never done to a cross raising, go to it. The other thing I will point out about the dietary laws, we witnessed that when 5 years ago now, or it's hard to believe that it's been 5 years ago that we were in Israel. Some of those dietary laws, they very much still adhere to some of those. Even the secular Jews adhere to some of them. Not all, perhaps, but some. And it's very interesting. You go there, and you can't have milk and meat in the same room together. So in the mornings, you could get milk for your coffee or cream for your coffee in the dining hall, but there was no meat per se. There might be eggs, but there would be no meat products in there. But in the afternoon, in the evening, rather, when we would go out and eat lunch out and about in the afternoon, but when we came in for supper or dinner, we would call it supper around here. When you come in for supper, you couldn't come into the dining hall with a cup of coffee that had cream in it, because we tried that one night. A couple of us had some coffee before we went in to eat. We got it out at the bar where they didn't serve food, just served drinks, and we got our coffee out there with some cream in it. And we were stopped. There were guys standing at the door. They see you come with a coffee cup. Whoop! That's coffee. Do you have cream in there? Yes. Can't go in. So you have to throw it out or drink it down. And one of our guys, he just gotten it, so he barely had drinking any of it. He was hungry, so he threw it away. So it's interesting. Those laws are over there, still being used to some degree. However, of course, some of them they're not really abiding by, because a lot of times in those dining halls you had Jews and Christians and Muslims even sitting down together in the same dining hall. In Jesus' time, I don't think you'd have seen that. You certainly wouldn't have seen it in a home environment, maybe in a public thing like in a motel lobby, but it was very interesting. At any rate, one of those things that you go over to Israel that you see that are very, very interesting to us as Midwesterners, as Westerners. That's what I got for you today. Enough rambling, Roy. Have a blessed day. Be a blessing to someone today. Tell them about Jesus. That would be a wonderful way to bless them. If you enjoy these devotions, please like and subscribe. But most importantly, please come back again. All right? God loves you. Take care. Bye-bye.